Greetings, faithful followers. This is your old pal, Brother Jack Angry, bringing you another edition of Movie Night Live from the Monastery of Mayhem with the Angry Brothers Omaha, Rama. And tonight, well, once again, here I am all by myself on the couch of mayhem. You know, it's like the girls, Brother James, everyone else is gone, so it's just me running the show. And I do apologize, unfortunately, with this being the spring of the year, and you know, everybody's got their their own things to do. So you know, Brother Jack's going to have to be running the ship on his own for a little while. But don't worry, faithful followers, we do appreciate you hanging in there. And the girls, Inferna, Dash, Sin, Gulia, Lady Torrid, and Dr. Sangria, and Veronique, and Dahlia, and all the rest, they will be back, so just hang in there with us, faithful followers, and we appreciate your patience with us so far. Now tonight, well, first off, since this is after St. Paddy's Day, I hope everybody got their green beer, and I hope everybody drove responsibly and drank responsibly. I mean, that's a big one. You know, we don't want any of our faithful followers ending up in the jug or in the morgue, you know, because frankly, you know, because of the holiday death toll and all that. So let's keep a good thought that everybody drank responsibly and, you know, behaved themselves and didn't have too much green beer. I mean, let's all have a good time, yes, but, you know, let's be responsible also. So on that happy note, we've got a really great movie for you. This one packs a little bit of a punch. Tonight's movie is the 1981 Clint Howard classic, and we all know who Clint Howard is. He is the perennial character actor brother of Ron Howard, the world-famous, world-renowned director, and you would know him as Richie Cunningham or Opie from, well, Richie Cunningham from Happy Days, or Opie from the Andy Griffith Show. Ron Howard actually went on to do a couple of small, well, he got started in a movie called, oh, what the hell was that movie? Oh crap, it was about the race car, where he chased the race car all over the country, and damn it, I had it on the tip of my brain a moment ago, but I forgot it. Oh well, this is what happens when Brother Jack goes to Colorado too much, you know, it's like, yay, Colorado. And we all know why we go to Colorado these days, and it ain't for the mountains, let me tell you. You know, some good shit, Maynard. Anyway, well, hello, Brother Barnard. Come on up here. Oh, what? I gotta pick you up. Oh, goodness gracious. All right, here we go. Yes, you sit there and you behave. All right, so yes, Brother Barnard's going to join us today, and remember, friends, on a little bit of a side note, be sure and support your local ASPCA and local humane societies wherever you are. And if you can and you need a little companionship in your life, you know, you want to make sure you give one of these little guys a home. I mean, Schwartzy and Brother Buddy or Brother Barnard here are both rescue animals, and Brother Buddy should be wandering in here in a few minutes. So again, support your local humane societies and your local ASPCAs, and help the rescue doggies out and kitties out if you can. Now, the other movie that Ron Howard was famous for was the last film that John Wayne did called The Shootist, and I believe that was done in like the mid-80s. Great film, Ron Howard was in that. And not to take away from Clint Howard, I mean, Clint Howard has been a staple in series television, movies, episodic TV, you know, from the mid-50s up through really the current year. He's been in a number of movies, a number of things for Sci-Fi Channel, a number of feature films. He was in Little Nicky playing his cross-dressing neighbor, you know, the guy that is out there, you know, playing with his nipples and all that, and that was thoroughly disturbing in and of itself. But in this film, this is really one of Clint Howard's best works. He plays the socially inept, rather socially awkward, but highly intelligent military school cadet Stanley Cooper Smith, Almost said Cooper Dick, but that wouldn't have been nice. No, it's Cooper Smith. He finds a book of satanic rituals and spells owned by the infamous Brother Esteban, who had founded the military school that the land it sits on. He was the leader of an order of monks that was driven out of Spain during colonial times, during the Inquisition, and settled on the California coast, where they founded the mission. Cooper Smith found the book and the tomb of Esteban in the basement of this church while he was on punishment detail to clean up the basement. What made this film so topical for its time, 1981 was the start of the computer revolution. It was the start of the home computer revolution. Apple had just brought out its, I believe, Apple IIs or Apple IIes, if I'm not mistaken. We remember those, it was a big keyboard and you had to have like a color TV or a big green monitor sitting on it, and you typed everything in through DOS command lines. There was no Windows, there were no point and click interfaces, everything. You had to be a nerd and know how to do it all through command lines. Brother Jack, had a lot of training in that environment, so he knew how to do a lot of that stuff, still do as a matter of fact. Anyway, Cooper Smith uses the computer to translate this book of satanic spells to get revenge on his tormentors. Among those were cadets played by Don Stark of That 70s Show and Jim Greenleaf, another popular character actor in the 80s. He went on to actually do a kids show, the Croft Superpower Hour. He played the superhero weatherman, which was a guy in a orange and black leotard, with a big cloud and rain thing on his chest. That was his symbol, and he could control the weather. I mean, it was really great viewing at that time, because I remember I was quite fond of the show. The gal they had playing the bass guitar, man, she had a body that could stop traffic, and I seem to recall there was a hot little blonde in there that was wearing a Wonder Woman outfit. Yeah, that kind of did it for old Brother Jack right there, It's like, we was up on Saturday mornings in more ways than one after watching that show. But again, I digress. Don Stark plays Bubba, and Jim Greenleaf plays the character of Ox. These two, and among others, are the nemesis of Stanley Cooper Smith. Hold on, rented lips. They, torment Stanley by destroying his school projects, causing him to get in trouble and rack up demerits with his teachers, who consequently consider him to be quite a loser and really not important. Now, this film does carry a very important moral message. So and I'll give you that right now, just so you can kind of check me and make sure I'm right. Always remember, faithful followers, and this is a little lesson in life for those our younger viewers, and we know you're watching. I mean, it's like, come on, how could you not? It's like, and it was even better when we had the girls, trust me, but we will have them again, right? Right, Barnard? Yes. The moral of the story of Evilspeak is the toes that you step on today may be connected to the ass you have to kiss tomorrow. Now, by that I mean this little gang of cadets, Ox, Bubba, and the rest of them, and the gym teacher, and consequently the headmaster of the school. They wrote Cooper Smith off as pretty much a loser and a zero, and Cooper Smith, using his brains and intelligence, all right, he called up a few demons. I mean, that might not have been the brightest move he could have done, but, I didn't see any of the rest of them coming up with anything better, to be quite honest. He used his intelligence and the computer to summon these demons to wreak havoc on his nemesis, or nemesi, however you want to do. And obviously, that it was accomplished, but he did come to a rather end by going insane and becoming a catatonic vegetable in a mental institution. But I don't want to give away any more of the film. We'll have some really great trivia about the film. The film actually did quite well in its, just so you know, it did quite well in its theatrical runs. Even though it was only released in New York and Los Angeles, the film cost about an estimated $9,000 to produce, but it made over $450,000 back in its initial theatrical runs, and many, many, many times that in its video release days, which was in the late 80s into the early 90s. I understand they might be bringing back a Blu-ray of this. You know, I haven't heard anything, but it's still a great movie, and we're going to bring it to you right now. So we're bringing you Evilspeak from 1981, starring Clint Howard, here on the Angry Brothers Omaha Shack-a-Rama. And for myself and Brother Barnard here, who's sacking out, I'm going to grab some Z's. Remember, friends, support your local ASPCA and humane societies, and if you can, help the rescue puppies and kitties and other rescue pets. You know, they are truly the only real love that money can buy. So on with Evilspeak from 1981, here on the Angry Brothers Omaha Shack-a-Rama. Enjoy.
Everyone's known a boy like Stanley Coopersmith.
Evilspeak.
He's the kid everyone used to pick on.
Screwed up for the last time, Cooper Dick. Evilspeak.
You see, everyone thought Stanley was a joke. An outcast with no one to turn to.
You guys broke my catapult. You're gonna pay for that.
No one except man's most advanced machine.
Evilspeak.
Stanley used the power of man to call on the powers of evil.
Evilspeak. I, Stanley Coopersmith, command you! Oh my God.
And all hell broke loose.
Imbue these creatures with your strength and force. Let them avenge me.
Evilspeak. Remember that little kid you used to pick on? Well, he's a big boy now.
Well, greetings, faithful followers. This is your old pal, Brother Jack Angry, along with Brother Barnard. You know, kind of my unofficial sidekick and mascot of the show. Tonight's movie is Evilspeak from 1981, starring Clint Howard, some other great actors, R.G. Armstrong, Hamilton Camp, Charles Tyner, Don Stark, so on and so forth, and Richard Moll as Esteban. We can't forget him, oh no. Now, to give you a little bit of trivia about the movie, Clint Howard, after shooting one of the, this was towards the end of the shoot, when he was, you know, wearing his bloody uniform and, excuse me, after he had wreaked havoc on his enemies. You know, there was a lot of sword swinging, a lot of decapitations, you know, a lot of people getting eaten by giant pigs and all that, you know. And speaking of giant pigs, there was a really great scene with the secretary with the big hooters getting torn up by the pigs. And we'll go into that in just a moment here, faithful followers. Now, as I was saying, Clint Howard was wearing this bloody cadet uniform and decided not to change when his shoot was done for the day. He decided he would drive home because apparently where this was filmed in Chatsworth, California, he lived fairly close by, I mean within easy driving distance apparently. On his way home, he pulls up to a stop sign, and a rather attractive young woman in a little sports car pulls up next to him. And he turns and smiles at her, and she is, of course, watching at him, and the first thing she proceeds to do is lock all of her doors. So Clint had a really great laugh. I guess he said he laughed about that all the way home, you know, that he had so unsettled this woman and that she had to lock all 4 of her doors. on a convertible, I mean, how much good is that really going to do you? But hey, this is California, you know, not too bright, some of them. Not the brightest bulbs on the tree, but hey, the weather's good, and you know, they do make good porno films, but I digress again. Now, another really great little bit of trivia, the actors that played Bubba and Stanley Cooper Smith, Don Stark and Clint Howard, they agreed not, you know, in the pre-planning of the film, they sat down together and agreed not to socialize while they were filming on the set, so they could actually keep up the animosity that their characters portrayed and make it more believable. So that's some really great acting right there. Now, another little nice bit of trivia about this film, it was actually banned in England in the 1980s as part of the infamous video nasties. They actually had a series of films. They included such things as Driller Killer, Evilspeak, Beyond the Door, and even The Exorcist was also declared to be part of the video nasties group of films, which were subsequently banned by the British government and their the Royal Board of Censors, or whatever the fuck they called the secret police in England at that time, you know, the morality police, as the film was too corruptive, too decadent, too basically despicable to be shown to the fine, upstanding, moral British. And these are the same people that bought you Piccadilly Circus and the strip bars and peep shows and, you know, Benny Hill, you know, believe it or not. And God rest you, Benny. We miss you, dude. You know, never were you more sorely needed than right now. Trust me on that one. So, but this film did not even get to be seen in the UK until like almost the mid-1990s up into the 2000s, when the video nasties, those regulations were relaxed, and you know, Britain was able to pull the stick out of its ass at least a little bit in regards to films. Now it's anything goes. I mean, you know, Britain. The only reason, you know, I'm cutting a break is because they brought us Red Dwarf, Doctor Who, and Torchwood, and John Barrowman, gorgeous bastard. Yeah, and Tom Baker. I mean, we got to mention Tom Baker. You know, love Doctor Who, big Doctor Who fan from way back. But the film, as I said, it cost about $900,000 to make, but it did actually recoup like between $450,000 and $500,000 when all was said and done. So it was fairly impressive, and many of the critics, despite its gory content and obviously supernatural, all right, come on, Barnard, sit down. Sit down. We got filming to do. Yeah, I know. Good boy. Good Barnard. Yeah, he's a good one. But anyway, the film went on to gross. The film went on to gross about $500,000, which was fairly decent. And even the critics, despite its obvious blood, guts, and satanic content, they went on to praise Clint Howard's acting ability as being amiable and believable. They also went on to, you know, congratulate the performances of Hamilton Camp and R.G. Armstrong. Even Don Stark got a mention from the critics as being totally believable in his role, and for critics that's high praise. Now, there were quite a few different, good scenes. There was also some really good goofs that we'll go into at the break here. So we're going to get back to the film Evilspeak from 1981, starring Clint Howard, Hamilton Camp, and Charles Tyner, here on the Angry Brothers Omaha Shakarama. So from myself and Brother Barnard, enjoy and unpleasant dreams, and we'll get back to the movie. faithful followers. What do you think of Evilspeak so far? Isn't this movie scary? What do you think, Brother Barnard? Is this movie scary? Yeah, I agree. He says it's not bad. It wasn't bad. I mean, it was pretty good. I mean, there was a lot of good intentions with the special effects. I mean, the scene where the secretary got torn up and eaten by the pigs, and then when the coach got his head, you know, and, you know, the headmaster got his skull split open with the big sword and everything. I mean, great effort. I have to give the director, the technical crew, the special effects crew, kudos. Clint Howard did a believable performance. You know, the gal who played the secretary, nice boobs, nice rear end. You know, you got eaten by some pigs. That's what you get for fucking around with shit that don't belong to you. You know, there's another little moral lesson in it, friends. Don't take shit that don't belong to you. You'll always come to a bad end. Right, Barnard? Yeah, he agrees. I'm getting a little thumbs up from him. Yes, I am. But, you know, the movie Evilspeak, as I said, this was part of the infamous British Video Nasty series, so it wasn't even seen by UK audiences until the late 90s into the 2000s, and it is enjoying a revival of popularity because I hear it is going to be released on Blu-ray. It's available through outlets like YouTube. I'm going to talk to our good friend Max, the Grindhouse channel, see if he can get that on, and or if he can get the rights to it, so we can put it up for everyone to enjoy. And you know, you will be seeing clips of it on this show also. So again, a really great movie, and it's movies like these that make my job as a horror host enjoyable, because this movie brings back a lot of memories from my childhood, because I did see it in the mid-'80s when it was on cable TV. And I believe I did rent it when it was on VHS and DVD. So it is one of those, you know, those great classics, you know, little guilty little pleasures, a little gem amongst all the stones that, you know, you find every now and again and you enjoy, and it always brings back a few good memories. Now, you know, again, and since we're talking about the actors, we have to give big kudos to, you know, Richard Moll, Bull Shannon himself. I remember him as Zusha of Delos in The Sword and the Sorcerer, one of the great movies we've run here on the Angry Brothers Omaha Shaka Rama. Loved him on Night Court. Really great actor and a really, really fine gentleman. I've had the occasion to talk to him at some conventions. I wish I could have got some of that on tape or on film, but, you know, very, very good, very, very gracious gentleman. I mean, you know, really top-notch guy. I can't speak highly enough of him. Now, before we go, again, I do want to mention our campaign to help Brother James, aka Lane Robb, my sidekick and some of the great talent on our show, with his situation, with his dental work. I mean, he is going to have all his teeth pulled, and he's going to have dentures because of advanced periodontal disease. And, you know, again, it has come to our attention that certain people, you know, who shall remain nameless, hack, loser, you know, have made the allegations that he doesn't have this condition. But I guarantee you, if you go to his GoFundMe page, we have posted pictures there that show his teeth in all of their glory. And, you know, we are being 100% serious about this, and I'm 100% committed to helping him get what he needs. This is designed to help the shortfall in his insurance. It is designed to cover like lost wages and time, because he is going to have to be laid up for a time after this surgery is done until he heals properly enough that he can have his dentures put in. You know, I mean, I've been looking at a lot of the, on Facebook and some of the other social media sites. You have models and, you know, models wanting to use GoFundMe campaigns to get new boobs. And yet people go crazy and fall all over them. I'm coming to you people with, you know, Brother James needs these isn't for just cosmetics so he can look good. I mean, he needs these so he can actually eat, and enjoy a good meal for a change. rather than, you know, obvious with the obvious, you know. I mean, it's a quality of life issue, people. It's not that he's vain and wants a better smile, or he wants to be able to pull more pussy or anything like that. No, he wants to be able to eat and enjoy his food and be able to actually eat things like steak, beef jerky, apples, things that you have to have a good set of choppers in your head for. And as it stands right now, I mean, he could do these things, but he has to run them through a blender. And that ain't good. That ain't fun. I mean, and I'm looking at the same thing myself, but, you know, fortunately it hasn't affected me to the degree it has him. But that's why I'm out here stumping with all of you, and I'm out here working to, I manage and maintain his GoFundMe site. I keep him advised every day, and for everybody who has donated, thank you so much. Our good friend, the Crimson Executioner over at the Vortex, our friends Uncle Edward, quite a few of our friends and acquaintances through our jobs, and a lot of our fans have donated. And we want to thank you all for that. And we've received a lot of donations off of the site. Fans have come up and just handed me a $10 bill or handed me a 20 and say, that's for Brother James's his teeth, and all of it goes into an account for him. There's no hanky-panky, no funny business or anything. And for the people who have made those allegations, if you have anything to say, you know, don't be a bunch of little bitches, or I should say a little bunch of redheaded bitches. Come and see me directly, or bring your concerns to me, to my face, not to my back. But anyway, you know, I digress again. So as for in wrapping things up with Evilspeak, it was a good movie. I mean, Clint Howard, Hamilton Camp, Charles Tyner, R.G. Armstrong, Richard Moll, they all did great jobs with their performances. They were totally believable, and the story, the whole experience was worth the hour and a half that you lost of your life to see it. So you can't ask for any more than that. I'd encourage you to find this movie if you can find it on YouTube, or if you can find it on Vimeo or whatever. Find it, watch it, download it, you know. Show your friends and family, show your kids. I mean, it's a fine example of 80s grindhouse gore cinema. I mean, it doesn't have to be anything more than that. It doesn't have to be Fellini, it doesn't have to be Satyricon or anything like that. But, and again, that's where the beauty in the movie lies, people, is that it doesn't claim to be anything than what it was. Nice piece of 80s gore, horror movie, great idea, great premise. So now next week we're going to bring you another, you know, this movie isn't really shown by a horror host, but we've had a lot of requests for it, and it's out there. It's old enough that we're going to go ahead and bring it to you. And, you know, this one's for our good friend, Brother James. We're going to bring you Outland, starring Sean Connery, Francis Sternhagen, Peter Boyle, and James B. Sicking, or however the hell you pronounce it. But it's a great film, kind of based on the movie High Noon, starring Gary Cooper. Sean Connery plays a marshal on a distant space station, one of the moons of Jupiter, I believe it's Io, and he has to enforce the law with an evil group of assassins, a drug cartel, psychos running rampant, you know, criminals, corruption, all that good stuff, the things that make America great. And we're going to be bringing that to you next week. Outland, starring Sean Connery, here on the Angry Brothers Omaha Shakarama. Enjoy.